different things that make it feel like lovers. I can only talk about the tales and things that I've heard. Dragging through the calendar, you really know I'm serious. Looking around the room and I think I might be delirious. At a time trying to find the difference between our minds. Most of us would like a better place to lay our heads. But if it's between a dream and sleep, wouldn't be caught dead. So make do with a bunk bed. So make do with a bunk bed. I try to fit in, but can't even fit in with the misfits. Trying to find a place where inner peaceful, like a missing piece. Fuck knows what, but I'll find my space, whether they like it or not. All the shit that I forgot will come around and get me down. Move into a different town. Learn to get you done, you gotta go.
So what or who got you into the music that you make?
So when I was a child, I listened to Iron Maiden a lot, like heavy metal bands, and that progressed onto Blink-182 and Green Day, punk rock sort of stuff as I started to get older, and then more recently more kind of rap and stuff, Lil Peep and people like that. And a big influence actually was Eminem. I think he's an influence for like 90% of people nowadays,
yeah.
But it's true, like I was obsessed with him.
So I noticed you always like incorporate guitar. Well, not always, but usually there's a lot of guitar, and I think it's pretty cool to see the way you mix your style up with the trap beats and the guitar, but it's not generic. It has a unique sound.
Yeah, like there's I mean, I record all my own music with the exception of there's one track I've got coming out where someone else made the beat, and that's just because I really liked it. But in every other instance, I make like all the music from scratch. And sometimes I'll use like live drum kits. Other times, you know, I might use a MIDI drum kit, but I prefer using like live drums mixed in with like produced trap drums. And I think it gives it a cool sound when you've got like 808s over the top of like a live drum kit. It's just interesting.
Oh, definitely. So, along that topic, I noticed that you play guitar. How long have you been playing guitar?
Quite a long time. I'm 21 now, and I sort of dabbled when I was like a lot younger, sort of like 8 or whatever. I was sort of dabbling with it, and I was playing a lot, sort of around, I'd say 11 or 12. I was spending a lot of time playing guitar, and then I started playing in a band and stuff when I was like 15. And it's in the last like 3 years or so that I've really like got into recording and mixing and just sort of run with it. And to be fair, I don't actually play guitar much anymore, which is kind of sad. But like I only pick it up to record something because I spend so long recording everything else, like the drums and the vocals and everything. I just don't have the time to sit there and play guitar unless it's going in a track. So it's kind of sad, but it is what it is.
Is there any other instruments you play, like drums or anything?
Yeah, so like I wouldn't call myself a drummer. I just play, because I record all the stuff myself. I just play enough at the instruments I need to record them for what. So you know what I mean. If I've got a song, I'm like, I need to be able to play this. I will work out what I want, play it, you know, rehearse it until it's good enough to record that, and then I'll probably never play it again.
Right.
But I do all the bass and guitars and drums like in my tracks and that. But like I say, it's purely for the purpose of getting it recorded.
So let's talk about your artist name. Clearly, the mask plays a part into the name. And like, what's the idea and inspiration behind the name and the mask?
The name and the mask. So I got a friend of mine from college to make the mask for me. It was a pretty mad process. I had to go around his house and he cast my face and that. I had to sit with all this like clay all over my face for ages. It was really weird. It was like freezing cold as well. We used like freezing cold water and then he just slapped it on my face. I was like, oh my god, it was like ice cold. I just had to sit there for half an hour while he made sure I didn't suffocate. But I think it come out sick, and it just gives something else to the music. You know what I mean? The music is not really about me. It's about creating like an image and art, and you know what I mean. So I'm not really bothered about it having to be me in it. I'd rather it be Babydoll, and that's what people see it as. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I respect that. So, did you always want to be a musician, or did that come on later in life? Like, what was your
No, it's been pretty
dream job?
consistent.
Really?
Yeah, I've always kind of wanted to do music. Yeah, man.
That's awesome. Like, how many years would you say you've been making music?
I started trying to record stuff, like, to be fair, when I was like 11 or 12, like, playing guitar a lot. I remember all I had was like a Fender Mustang amp that had like a USB connector, and I was just like downloading Audacity on my laptop. I swear that's like where everyone started.
Oh, yeah.
And just recording things in. And obviously, like, I look back now, I'm like, oh my god, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. But the point was, like, I think when people need to be sort of like handheld and guided through the process a bit too much, like they've already failed. I know that sounds like harsh, but like a lot of the people making music, they didn't have someone come along and kind of, you know, drag them down the route. Like they proactively got up and started trying to record with whatever they had, you know what I mean? So it's just about making whatever you've got available to you work, you know. And I'm very lucky now, like I work in music, like making music videos and recording bands and that. And I'm very lucky now to have like my own studio that's like got everything, you know.
I was about to...
Every time I do a project for a band, I've just got a proper analog mixer and that in here, and on my days, like, you know, you think it doesn't matter until you're using it. Like for that new song, okay, that I put out with Lance. Normally guitars are a bitch. I spend hours trying to EQ these things, and you know it's just really hard work to get them sounding right. As soon as I had this mixer, I just like mic'd up the amp, ran the channels up. I was like, yeah, that's it. It sounds great.
I noticed on this new one that something about the guitar sounded different. Probably the quality or maybe the tone.
Yeah, man.
It sounded really, really good.
Yeah, so like before, I mean, there's like a lot of people really. I mean, I used to blend, right? So you get like amp sims on the computer, and I was micing up a bit as well, but it just didn't have the same balls to it. And then you run the mics through like a mixing console, like a good one, and you know drive the channels up, and it's just oh my god, they like roar at you. It's so satisfying. You like you hit that guitar, and you're just like oh my days.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you ever been the type of person to play live shows, or do you have plans to play when things open up?
I have played a lot of live shows in my time, like in my band and that.
Nice.
Before all this, and I'm hoping to do, you know, Babydoll stuff live. It's just a matter of, it's hard work. Like I would be wanting to like sing and play the guitar and everything, and it is hard work. So I'd have to do a couple shows and just see if it works, or if I've just got to be patient and when the time's right, get session players in to like and play as a band or whatever. But yeah, I would love to do live shows. It's just a matter of whether that's feasible with like the complexity of what's going on with the music.
Oh hell yeah, we gotta get Babydoll in America.
That'd be nuts, bro.
Get you some shows over here, that'd be dope.
Yeah, man. I went to America once. I went to Florida on a holiday like years and years and years ago, and it was wild. To be fair, unfortunately, I can't afford to just like keep going to America. You know what I mean? It's damn expensive. But we did go, and we went for like 3 weeks because we knew we wouldn't be able to go again. And it was like wow. Like I love the vibe of it, you know. And I know people in America are sort of like sometimes conflicted or it's got its problems or whatever. But like, you know, as someone from the outside visiting it, like, it is a cool place. I respect, like, you know, what you've got going on.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely some really beautiful parts of Florida. What's the most frustrating part of making a track?
Like, actually recording it, probably, guitars used to be frustrating. Now I've got this desk, and they just sound good when I run it through. It's not frustrating anymore. So probably, maybe the vocals, because I mean I've got to record some vocals today, and I just with a guitar, like you turn up, you plug it in, and the guitar's always going to sound like a guitar. But your vocals, you turn up and you don't know what's going to come out. You know what I mean? Like your voice might sound awful that day, or it might sound great. You just don't know until you like plug the mic in and find out. And that's pretty frustrating if your voice just isn't playing ball and you're trying to get these takes down and they're just sounding terrible. You have to like come back the next day and do it again, and yeah, that's pretty frustrating.
Oh yeah, I've definitely had the same experience. So I'm gonna flip that. What's the most gratifying part about making a track?
It's got to be the mastering stage, right? I'll record all the track in and like mix it and that, get it sounding like really sick, and then I import it into the mastering project. And like when you're really like driving the track and pushing it up, and like then I just have fun with it, man. I just crank the speakers and like just get your nuts vibrating with the bass and that. It just sounds great.
Yeah, that's great. So, how did the relationship between you and Lance start?
Jeez, man, it's I can't believe how fast like time goes, man. But like he was coming to a studio I was working at. I think he actually first came when I was like in training there, so it was like a few years ago now. And we done some recordings there and that, and then things kind of he carried on with other things in life. I carried on working. We didn't really speak or anything. And then just recently, he sort of messaged me again. We started recording at my studio before the one I'm at now, coming and recording tracks. And I think we just really worked well together. Like, I was always very much, like, my first Babydoll stuff, I sat on for like a good year because I just wasn't sure about it. I didn't want to put it out, and Lance would always just turn up to the studio, record something, go home, upload it, and just start getting it out there, which I could never bring myself to do. I could just never actually go out and post it. So then I think my focus on the technical side of the music and recording stuff, maybe where like he'd record something, I'd be like, no, you can do that better, go do it again. But then his ambition to actually get stuff out and start sharing it just works really well, because then we're both sort of pushing each other to do better in those elements.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. I have noticed in your videos and the songs you have with Lance, the chemistry and like I don't know, between the both of you, it always sounds really great. Like, you got your voice kind of, more melodic, and Lance comes in with that just like heavy hitting rap most of the time, and together it makes a great duo. It's really good.
Yeah, cheers, man. It's like, I mean, if you find someone you work well with, like, you just got to run with it. You know what I mean? We did like that song we put out. We done it in 12 hours. You know what I mean? We just turned up, done it, went out, shot, come home, edited it, and uploaded it at like 3 a.m. Just because, like, I think if you can make a track with someone in that space of time, like, that's got to say something. Like, I think that's just because we've recorded together so much now.
That it's crazy that you filmed that in 12 hours and it looks that good. Like,
It is. We literally like recorded the song. Like the song didn't even exist. Like the morning, like I just come up with it while I was brushing my teeth, and like I just text Lance like, "Yo, I've got a song we need to record." He's like, "Okay." And then at 3 a.m. that night, we were uploading a music video for it. It was mad.
yeah, that video came out really quality, man. That was good shit.
Cheers, man. I scared a few people in town, I can't lie, with the mask.
I was watching the video and I was actually thinking about that.
Luckily, it's pretty dead because of, like, lockdown and that, so nothing's open, but...
Right.
So there was only, like, 5 people or whatever, but they did give us some funny looks. The reactions are different, man. I did some shots the other day where I was like, filming somewhere, and I was just waiting outside, and like I had people like driving past her, like bibbing and waving and, you know, giving thumbs up and all that. Like, some people love it, and then other people are just like, what the hell, you know? So, but that's kind of the point, right? If it's not splitting opinion, then what's even the point in doing it?
Yeah. Exactly. And I noticed you have like quite a bit of diversity. Where does that come from? Is it possible from growing up and hearing different types of music?
I think so, man. Like, I can't lie. When I was first into like metal and stuff as a kid, there's this weird sort of, I can't really explain it, but it's a bit like cats and dogs, where like you like metal and you just assume that rap and pop is like the worst thing that's ever plagued this earth. That's just like the mindset I had, and I think that comes from my parents a lot. They really hate rap, and then I think it sounds really dumb, but there was a song that came out from Eminem for a Call of Duty game, which I was getting, and I was like, this is really sick, because it had a lot of rock influence in it. And after that, I put on the song Stan, like the music video, and that just blew my mind, because I'd been told like all this time, like, rap's like this degenerate genre, and it's just like full of idiots and all that. And then I heard this track, and I was like, that's like deep. There's like a lot going on here. And then I think that just opened the floodgates of like being open-minded to the idea that, you know, try this music out. Like, maybe you do actually like it, you just don't know because you haven't actually tried listening to it yet.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. That's great advice. So let's see. So, what do you got in the works right now? What can you tell us about what Babydoll is doing?
Man, literally, it's such a long process. That's half the reason I put that track up, because like I realized, like, you know, it does take time, so I wanted to get something up just in the meantime. But I have got an album that is very close. It's very close to being finished. I'm just finishing like vocals on the last couple of tracks.
So you have a full
obviously
album?
It takes time.
You got
full album, bro. Let me just check. I've got like, there's a good amount of songs on it. Where is it? It's about like 10 songs, 11 songs, something like that.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll have to get one.
Definitely, man. Like, it's got, you know, and there's quite a bit of variety on it for sure. Like, I mean, I had that first EP, and then I wanted to I just like creatively to have an album, right? And especially since I'm starting out, I haven't got much catalogue at the minute. I've got like 5 songs, which for anyone who's interested, that's not really enough. So I'm hoping once this album's up, that means like anyone who's interested, it's like 20 tracks they can just go and check out.
Oh yeah, but the like 5 songs you do have up at the moment, they're all heavy hitters. They're all quality.
Cheers, bro. Appreciate that.
I wanted to ask you, like, what's the meaning behind One of Us?
Christ, it's pretty deep. Like, when you listen to I hate writing lyrics a lot of the time, because like I quite like instrumentals. I can't lie. I find like if all I cared about was the words, I'd write a poem. You know what I mean? The music's there to say something that words can't. So when I write lyrics, it's a bit like, if these lyrics are crap, it's going to ruin the song. But if they're good, then it's just going to keep the song good. You know what I mean? So I do hate writing them, but when I do get them, I'm usually quite happy with them. And One of Us, there's a lot of, obviously it's quite aggressive, kind of fuck love kind of approach.
Right.
But I think there's a lot of like clever lines in there, especially that like second verse. If you really delve into it, there's a lot of like interesting little lines and hints in there. And just funny little things like call dibs on the good grave and stuff, like,
yeah,
sort of childish, you know, ways of talking about really dark stuff. Yeah, man, the lyrics should be in the description, right? And like, if you sort of really like pay attention to like the way they sort of link together, like I say, it's kind of trying to almost be playful with stuff that's actually really quite dark.
Right.
Which is, I guess, is kind of the vibe of Babydoll, right? It's taking something that's meant to be innocent and childish and making it kind of disturbing.
Right. Yeah, I like the what would you call it? I like the gimmick or the character. Like it's a really
For sure, man.
it's a really unique gimmick, and it definitely has been working good.
Yeah, man. I mean, I can't lie. In like the sort of emo rap community, it's been way better accepted than in the metal community. Like, some of them guys really hate it. I can't lie. I got torn to pieces on one post, but you know, again, it's part of it, right? And you just got to learn to deal with it. I mean, the first time, like, they were really going off. I had like 20 people, and they're all being like, "This is shit. You need to quit music and all that." I was like, "Wow, okay, like that's pretty harsh." But you know, you get over it, and then you're just like, you know what? If it's pissing people off, it's funny, because they're probably all going to go and like write hate comments on your YouTube thing, and then they're probably going to come back next time and watch the next video to hate on it. And it's like, do you hate this, or are you just like obsessed? It's a bit, you know.
I mean, shit, they're just bringing you extra attention and views.
Exactly, bro. Like, I mean, some of them were sharing it, right? Like, they were hating it so much they were sharing it.
Right.
Like, the joke's on you. I'm getting more views now.
So we mentioned about you playing guitar. Obviously, you have some metal influences. Can you name a couple?
Yeah, man. So, I mean, Maiden, obviously, Bring Me the Horizon is a huge one in terms of, like, mixing in the synths and shit. I think in terms of music production, they were probably actually the biggest one, along with, like, Linkin Park and stuff. Slipknot, obviously, that's, like, you know, the masks and everything. Like, I loved that as a kid, so there's a lot of that in there as well. I think probably Bring Me the Horizon, Slipknot, Lil Peep and Eminem would be like the top ones that I'd say you can really like hear in the music.
It's a great selection.
I'm quite fortunate really to be in a time where like there is a lot of superb music. Like Naughty's kind of production on like bands like Sum 41 and Blink-182 and all that.
Yeah.
Like they're considered kind of these like punky like looking bands, but when you listen to it, it is so well produced, and the care that's gone into it that just sort of people don't appreciate. But you know, there's a reason these songs are hits, and when you listen to them, you're like, oh my god, they've actually put like a lot of effort into this. And it's kind of cool that we get to be alive in a time where we can actually appreciate that skill of production,
right,
and then try and build on top of it.
I need to know this one, because I'm curious. So, did you have this whole style and idea in mind, or did it come later on?
I'd always wanted to like, you know, delve into some more like weird music. In terms of like from when I was playing in a band, and that is quite limited, right? Because you've got to just write what you can play live. And I was like coming up with all these like crazy synth parts and stuff, and I was like, you know what, I just want the freedom to be able to make whatever I want to make.
Definitely.
In terms of Babydoll itself, I think it was pretty spontaneous, you know. It was just like, you know, there was no explanation for it. It was literally just like thinking about the project and like working on like a couple of demos I had. I was just like, oh, Babydoll would be a sick name. And then the idea for like a doll's head mask and shit, like it just happened. Like, I can't really explain it. Maybe it was the music that I was making me think in that direction, but there was no like, you know, writing down 20 different names and picking one. It was just like, oh yeah, I'm going to call it Babydoll.
So, what do you do in your spare time? Do you have any hobbies?
Unfortunately, when you work in music, there is no spare time. But when there is like the occasional couple of hours at like 3 a.m., I like to play like Call of Duty and stuff. Like I said, Call of Duty Zombies is like my buzz. That's a lot of influence from the music from that game. Actually, I don't know if you've heard the music from that game, but they've got some sick music in that. And the COD Zombies, like tracks like 115 in that, it's like proper like heavy kind of metalcore stuff, and it is good. And like the melodic, like there's like a woman vocalist over it and stuff, very Evanescence.
Oh,
And
nice.
obviously, I listened to that game growing up, so that influenced me as well.
What do you expect to accomplish in 2021?
It's a hard one, man, because I think a lot of people had goals, and obviously it's kind of gone tits up for a lot of people. You know, there's nothing we can really do about it. We just got to make the best of the situation. So whilst my business was like, it's a double-edged sword, right? My business was meant to be taking off recording and everything, but that's been pretty dead because there's no gigs and no one's, you know, really rehearsing or anything. But it's meant I've got to focus on my music. So it's going to be this album release, and like, I've got a few music videos lined up in that, and just trying to, you know, see how far I can take it.
Oh, hell yeah, man. So, one last thing, go ahead and plug all your pages and where people can listen to your music.
All my pages, probably the best place, personally, is my YouTube. Like, if you find, like, Babydoll, like, probably the One of Us video, Babydoll, One of Us music video is probably the easiest to find. And then, like, follow the channel on there, just because the music videos is such a big part of what I'm doing, like the visuals. And then aside from that, like, Spotify is probably, it depends where you stream stuff, don't it? But it's on all the platforms. SoundCloud, iTunes, it's everywhere.